the crown prince of as seen on TV fitness. It's one of the biggest successes of the multi-level marketing scheme Beachbody, formerly Beachbody, now Body, I'm gonna say Body. It's available for $70 on the Body app. I did it when I was 20 years old. Now the program itself is almost 20 years old. I'm hyped as hell to talk about it, so let's bring it, trademarked, for P90X. For these program reviews, I'm going to start top-loading the key information, including the final grade, so if that's all you end up needing, then you can go about your day. I'm giving this program a 7 out of 10. The score was built out of giving up to 2 points for each of the 5 criteria listed here. I'll figure out where to put it later. I'll go into more detail through the rest of the video, but in the meantime, I'm going to summarize the key points. I used to really love this program. I first did it when I was 20 years old. As I got older and more educated, I started to look down on the program. I started to think it was silly, outdated, gimmicky, and even ineffective. Re-examining it for the purposes of this review, I have to admit, I think it's better than I was anticipating. That's not to say it's without its quirks and flaws. It's got plenty, some of which are artifacts of the time it came out. Others are, I think, practices that I think are a little iffy of the company itself. Now, to get this out of the way, this is not a novice program at all. And it doesn't claim to be. On the Body app, it is listed as advanced, and you should take that seriously if you're looking at doing this. The manual recommends that you complete a few fitness tests on your strength, your endurance, your vertical jump, and your flexibility. I would ignore the flexibility component of it. I don't really think it's that important, but for the rest, I actually do recommend taking that fit test, and I have linked it in the doobly-doo below. You're told to eat at maintenance calories. That means you are not supposed to lose or gain weight while doing this program. That means it is not a weight loss program. It is a recomposition program. You're meant to build muscle and lose weight at the same time. That is a realistic goal. I can make another video about the idea in the future if you're interested. And I do agree that that is the most realistic way to approach it. It's a very high volume, very high intensity program. If you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit while doing it, you are going to feel really beaten up. And it's not a small commitment. It is 6 to 7 days a week of workouts, and each workout is between an hour and 90 minutes in duration. Now, if that is saving you a commute back and forth to and from the gym, that might actually be kind of coming out in the wash. But I definitely recommend trying this if you already have an established record of keeping up with a routine that has at least close to this many workouts every single week. And definitely use the classic version of it. It lists 3 different configurations of the workouts and the workout calendar. You'll probably get the best results on that classic version. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Now, on that, if the plyometrics workout in particular is too high impact for you, if it's crushing your knees, crushing your ankles, you're really feeling like crap afterwards, or even struggling to complete it, definitely just swap it out for the Cardio X workout video. That'll get you pretty much the same benefits with much less impact. Now, if all of that sounds good to you, then go forth and tell me how it goes for you. In the meantime, if you want a little bit more detail, enjoy the rest of the review. You've probably heard of P90X before, but for those who haven't, here's a little bit of the marketing. It's the brainchild of celebrity trainer Tony Horton and a sequel to Power 90, a program that I've personally had zero exposure to. It is currently listed on the app as a beginner program, and usually the advice is if you are a beginner, start with that one and then do P90X next. The key promise is regular to ripped in just 90 days. Now, that's a hell of a promise. Like I've said before, you train 6 to 7 days a week through resistance, conditioning, and flexibility workouts. The longest individual workout is actually the yoga session. It comes with a nutrition plan as well as a very heavily pedaled line of supplements. Now, as a final reminder, I always review a program on its own terms. What it is claiming to be for, who it is claiming to be for, versus what outcomes you can realistically expect if you do this. That said, I'm definitely not immune to bias, so if you personally disagree with any of the points that I bring up, please feel free to comment below. I'm more than happy to hear from you. On effectiveness, I give it a 1 out of 2. It's promising both aesthetic and performance goals, with improvements in strength, flexibility, and coordination being cited in the written material. And it crams a lot into these weekly workouts. The strength workouts are programmed in supersets and giant sets with minimal rest. You pretty much never stop moving, particularly the plyo and the kenpo workouts, which are both the main conditioning sessions of the week. After you finish the warm-up, you kind of just jump, kick, and punch for 40 minutes straight at maximum effort. That is a lot of work, and it is going to require a lot of recovery to get back from. I remember when I first did the plyo workout on my first week of doing the program, I needed to go upstairs to the kitchen when I was done to get a glass of water, and I had to crawl up the stairs. I physically could not walk at that point. The training is organized into 3 blocks of 4 weeks, and those blocks are divided into 3 weeks of intense work, followed by 1 week of slightly less work, basically a recovery or deload week. Now, this is pretty standard block periodization. I think it works pretty well. It's kind of weird that they heavily imply that they invented this, but whatever. The stated mechanism of provoking adaptations in this program is muscle confusion. And yes, they did trademark that phrase. Now, the way that I've come to understand muscle confusion later on is this idea of constantly varying exercises to shock the muscle. But their version of it, again, is pretty standard block periodization. You do one version of the strength workouts 1 month, and then you do a slightly different version of it on the 2nd month. So you're just using variation to prevent plateaus. So to summarize, you have a whole bunch of really hard work followed by a reasonably programmed active recovery week. So far, so good. Where I do have to dock some points from this program is in some of the stranger claims. For example, rep ranges. Now, Tony Horton claims on camera that if you want to build big muscles, you need to be working in the 8 to 10 rep range. If you want to build lean muscles, you go to the 12 to 15 rep range. But, sir, what happens if I were to do 11? The text backs up the claim, doesn't back up the claim. It provides no evidence. It solidifies the claim by saying 12 plus reps, you'll be mostly developing muscle endurance. This is kind of a silly claim, since adding a couple of reps isn't going to determine whether or not you build muscle. It's a distinction without a difference. It is true that it's a lot harder to push a set far enough, by which I mean close enough to failure, when you're doing way more reps, because frankly, you're either going to just get bored and stop, or it's going to burn so much that it will be very psychologically difficult to take that set all the way to failure. Now, if I were a cynical man, and I am, it's part of why I'm in therapy, I'd venture that this claim is here to persuade women who might be afraid of growing muscle to participate and push their sets harder. Just telling them that if they do enough reps, that they'll grow the lean muscle that they want, but not get too big. That said, I can't speak to the program creator's intent, but it's one of those things that rings my fitness professional alarm bells. And the thing that's even more insidious is in the instructions of how to configure the program for different goals. You can do the program just as written, which they call classic. You can add more cardio on the days that you do your strength workouts, which they call doubles. Or you can do the lean variation, which involves scaling back the resistance work in favor of more cardio. How are you going to get lean without resistance training? Well, if you're not going to build muscle, then the only way to get leaner is to lose fat. But if you're following the nutrition guidelines, you are going to be eating at calorie maintenance, meaning your weight will not be going up or down. So how do you lose fat, not build muscle, and also stay the same weight? I ran those numbers and the math doesn't check out. And in fact, why would you do the doubles version of the program at all? If you're training to be an endurance athlete, for example, you would probably want to spend that time practicing, for example, running, swimming, biking, whatever it is. So the only logical reason in the context of a program like this, again, this is a physique-oriented program, is to burn more calories, which means you're trying to lose weight. But this is not the most effective way to lose weight, because now you're still doing all of the high-impact, high-resistance training at a very high volume. You're doing 2-a-days. This is a lot of work to recover from, when frankly, if you just want to lose weight, you could either decrease the calories you eat or and add more low-impact activity like going for a pleasant walk. In short, the program's instructions actually kind of undermine the potential that you would have from following it, because if someone opts for these variations, they are going to have to negotiate with that discrepancy, and they'll be pounding their bodies into dust all the while without getting any meaningful physique change. If I were to summarize the gains that you could reasonably expect, your back will probably get the most out of it. You are doing hundreds of reps of pull-ups, potentially with assistance like with a chair, as they advocate for if you're not able to do regular pull-ups just yet. But either way, you're taking pretty much all of those sets to failure, and it's a lot of sets. Chest, arms, shoulders, they will also probably respond pretty well to this protocol. Legs? Not so much. Now, this isn't to say that most people won't get some leg results from this training. I'm going to show you what their version of the Bulgarian split squat looks like here. I can't show you the video. They've outsmarted me on this one, and I cannot do screen captures on the Body app. So the only workout I can actually show you is from the free video, the chest and back workout that they posted online for marketing purposes. So thank you, Body, for giving me that. And it's super shallow because Tony Horton in the video repeatedly makes a point of saying, do not put your knees over your toes. So the only way to do this exercise is to really cut short the range of motion and have your legs really, really wide apart. Tony, it's the range of motion of your knee over your toe that the quad gains are coming from. Stop making people afraid of movement! Overall, the main flaw of the leg exercise selection is the limited loading capacity. This is a classic problem of trying to train at home, as anybody who tried doing workouts under lockdown can attest. So you end up with, in this program, a whole lot of 20+ rep sets going on. So even by their math, you should not expect a lot of leg growth from this. It's mostly body weight only, and because they are doing what is basically just a whole bunch of lunges, it's very, very difficult to push these to failure. You don't even see Tony or the models taking their sets anywhere close to failure. And the thing that's frustrating is that there are exercises that you could do that are hard enough to fail with 15 reps or less. For example, you could do pistol squats. If those are too hard for you, you can do box pistols, skater squats, proper Bulgarian split squats with added load, sissy squats, dumbbell Romanian deadlifts, Nordic curls, reverse Nordic curls. But they don't do any of that. They do a bunch of lunges, they do kind of lightly loaded squats up to a calf raise, and a bunch of wall sits. And I am angry about those wall sits because I friggin' burst into tears doing this one time at home. Because don't get me wrong, it's gonna feel like it's working. It burns. It hurts. Quad burn makes you feel like you're dying. But the thing is, we know that when it comes to muscle growth, you have to be close to failure. So the leg workout is a little bit of a wash. Now, if you're someone for whom this isn't particularly important, then that doesn't have to be a deal breaker. But if you want to run this program and also grow your legs, I would recommend, frankly, dumping the workout altogether, picking up your own workout using the exercises that I listed before. And every strength workout is also followed by a 15-minute high-rep ab routine called Ab Ripper X. Burns like hell. I can't speak to the hypertrophic benefit of this workout, and personally I would prefer loaded, lower rep work to be included because your abs grow like any other muscle group, and if you are trying to get a six-pack, that should be something that you are training for. But alas, classic ab wisdom strikes again. This is logic that unfortunately continues to dominate the fitness world, so why would this be the exception? On the usability front, I give it a 1.5 out of 2. I'll start this section by covering the densest material included with the program, which is the nutrition plan. Having reviewed AX1 recently, I have seen the halfest-assest of nutrition plans in action, so I can recognize how much a problem that can be for someone who is earnestly trying to follow a meal plan that has been written in this kind of cookie-cutter way. The nutrition plan with P90X, on the other hand, is surprisingly in line with what I would have probably written if, instead of coaching someone gradually through their nutrition, I were trying to write a single, all-encompassing document on what to do to get the best results. It gives you an explanation on how to calculate the rough range of your maintenance calories, and then based on that rough estimate, you can either follow a full meal plan, a sort of macro-based serving plan, or their quick option approach, which gives you guidelines of what to do on occasions where you just need to throw something in the microwave. In general, I don't think a meal plan is a great approach for most people, since they'll have an easier time working with foods that they're already familiar with, and especially foods that they are already used to preparing for themselves, and especially if they've got families that they're also preparing food for. Being able to minimize the amount of change that they need to do is going to go a long way. But I can see why something like this would work for someone who doesn't really mind starting from scratch, is perfectly happy to explore a whole book of new recipes, and has no trouble whatsoever complying if they're just given like very strict instructions. As of 2024, the Body app can be used to... Oh. Cat break! As of 2024, the Body app can be used to Lily, stop it. As of 2024, the Body app can be used to download all of the written material, as well as the videos for the workouts. So you have everything you need in one spot. You can track workouts in the app calendar, though to track meals, you have to buy a separate meal plan, as P90X doesn't come with its meal plan plugged into the app. Instead, you're prompted to upsell to a different meal plan, but whatever. The worksheet for tracking workouts isn't fillable in the app, so you'll have to either print it or copy it over to an app like Notability to fill it in. It's a small inconvenience that seems like it should be easy to fix on their end, so half a point docked for you. Seriously though, props for constantly reminding people to log their sets and reps. High five, Tony. For the workouts, there is a reasonable amount of flexibility, so I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 2. They actually show the different fitness models performing various progressions and regressions of quite a few of the exercises, so points for that. And a similar flexibility is built into the nutrition plan. Like I covered before, you can follow a meal plan or you can follow a serving-based plan. This is the category I will slash a point from regarding the very strange periodization of the nutrition plan. The calories are matched and intended for maintenance, but the first month is a high-fat, low-carb, the second month is more balanced, and then the third month is high-carb, low-fat. The reasoning offered for this honestly makes no sense to me. The claim is that the high-fat diet in the first month will burn more fat, whereas the high-carb diet will improve your performance. The second part of that is true, because carbs are the fuel for your performance. They are the direct fuel for your muscles. So if you have a diet that is high in carbs, you're going to get more out of it. Carbs are also permissive of muscle building. So if your objective is to build muscle and lose fat, you want to stack the deck as much as possible in your favor, and so eating lots of carbs is generally going to be a solid bet. A high-fat diet accomplishes none of that. It simply stifles your ability to get the correct amount of carbs, and it's not going to burn more fat because you're eating at maintenance. If you want to get leaner, you need to build muscle. If you want to build muscle, you need protein and you need carbs. So if you are going to use this nutrition plan, I highly recommend following the second or third month and just completely ignoring the first month. Or you could just eat whatever you want. Because the intention is to eat at maintenance, you can pretty much eat a normal diet that you are personally used to, and as long as you are not losing or gaining weight, you're technically following the instructions. As long as you have sufficient protein, you are giving your body the fuel it needs to do what the program is trying to do. So really treat the whole nutrition plan as optional is really my overarching advice here. On enjoyability, I give it a 2 out of 2 with an asterisk. Frankly, this is a category that I think should just be called asterisk because of how much your mileage will vary based on personal preference. I am grading it based on how I assume it will appeal to its target audience, which in this program's case is people who want a follow-along workout that resembles a fitness boot camp, but that they can do at home. And if that's what you're looking for, it absolutely delivers that.
I'm turning sideways. I'm coming in. I'm going away. That's Martin over there.
How you feel about Tony Horton's personality is going to be a pretty big determinant in whether or not this works for you. I personally had a lot of fun following along with this when I was 20. If you find him personally charming, that is awesome. If you're the kind of person that finds him annoying, you might have a bit of a harder time with this one. If you do find the delivery annoying, you can still follow the program, but you are probably going to want to either mute it and play your own music, or even just use the worksheets once you understand the workouts well enough, and just do the workouts at your own pace. Now, given how popular the program is and how, frankly, that is most likely related to the delivery, I give it full points, but consider this me hedging. On value, I give it 1.5 out of 2. Now, I nearly gave full points for this. The current listed price is reasonable for what you get. I am a little surprised to see that the price hasn't dropped that much in almost 2 decades, but you are getting the 12 original workout videos, plus the 5 P90X Plus videos and a smorgasbord of these other workout videos by the P90X Pro team that I've never seen before. The written materials are incredibly detailed, the production value is good, the videos are slick, so where am I docking the half point from? Well, it's got to do with the upsell.
A final note on supplements.
Both AthleanX and P90X make a point of promoting a line of supplements that they claim are so essential to your success that they write them specifically into their meal plans. If anyone's interested in specific supplement breakdowns, let me know. But I want to offer a quick overview of what these companies are claiming versus what you should actually expect. From the point of view of a company like Body, you can sell a customer one copy of a training program, but you can sell them several bags and bottles of supplements. One 30-serving bag of Shakeology, if I were to order it from their website, it would set me back $155 Canadian. The first thing anyone watching this should understand is that supplements are probably not an important part of your health and fitness outcomes. They are often framed as the third pillar: fitness, nutrition, and supplements. And that is the way that it is framed by P90X. They are not the third pillar. They are the very tip of a very large pyramid, the foundations and body of which are exercise, nutrition, and recovery. It is very easy to get caught up in the marketing when an authoritative voice is telling me that I need these supplements. So if you want to follow this program and you are tempted by the marketing for the supplements, I want you to bear one thing in mind. Would they be pushing supplements this hard if they weren't selling them? So that's my review of P90X. Comment below if you have programs that you would like me to review, and in the meantime, go out there and get friggin' strong.